Hi kids, so we're still training at home. Today we're looking at a style of armbar called the Kimura. You are going to need somebody to train with today. You're going to have another body to practice on. And what the Kimura is, it's like all the arm bars we do where we straighten the arm, where you take the arm extra straight. With the Kimura, the difference is it's not straight in the arm, it's actually a bit of a twist in the arm. So you're twisting your partner's arm. So remember the normal arm bar, so just jump in your back, Ruby. If I was with Ruby, and what I'm doing is have one leg over the belly, one leg over the head, and I pull her arm down across my hip, and that makes her arm too straight, and Ruby has to tap. But the Kimura is a little different. So that was making the arm go to here, to too straight, and your partner has to tap. With the Kimura, what we're doing a twisting in the arm. So what we're looking at is pulling on the elbow and the hand and twisting like this, yeah? And that's gonna put pressure on your partner's arm to make him tap. So how do we practice this? Well, there's this position here, which we all know, side control. What we're gonna look at is get my partner's arm and grab him right at the wrist here. So not in the middle of the arm, right at the end of their arm, not their hand, because their hand moves, the wrist. You hold the wrist here with your hand, facing down. So if you're in side control, all you need to do is push your partner's hand down to the floor like this. Once you have that, you've started the part of getting the Kimura. Now what you want to do once you have your hand on top of your partner's wrist is reach underneath their arm and grab your own wrist like this. So what I'm doing is grabbing my hands here. So Ruby, you just sit up for a sec. So what we want to make sure we do is when we grab the wrist, we reach through and hold our own one like this. Yeah? So you're going under and holding through. I'm adjusted like this so you can see it with the camera. So you're laying on top, you grab their wrist, and you reach underneath and grab your own wrist. So you're on top of your partner, you're in a good spot, you're in side control. You're holding him down. You know the options from here. You've got like knee on belly, you've got mount, you've got the arm bar, but we're looking at the Kimura, okay? So what we're going to do is grab that wrist. Remember, push it down to the floor. Reach under and grab your own wrist like this. Make sure you keep your weight on your partner, because what we're going to do is lift their elbow up towards the roof. So remember, the elbow is the part of the body that bends here. What we're looking at is pulling that up towards the roof, pulling the elbow up to the roof. But if you've got to keep your weight on top of your partner. So when I lift up, I'm pulling on Ruby's elbow, and that's putting pressure on her shoulder, and she has to tap. Keeping your weight on your partner. Make sure you don't lift off, because then Ruby, just sit up with it, Rubes. There's nothing here. I'm just pulling her up. You've got to keep your body on top as you lift that elbow up. Ruby's tapping now because she's feeling pressure, the twisting on the shoulder. So we're twisting our partner's arm like this. This is a Kimura. You're allowed to do Kimuras in your age division, in competition. You're allowed to do them in training. No problem at all. So you've got to have to practice this with someone at home. But make sure when we do this, we lay across them in side control. You can grab the wrist and push it to the floor. Hold that hand on the floor. Making sure you're not grabbing up the arm or not the hand, because the Kimura won't work. You've got to grab right on the wrist and your hands down like this, okay? Keeping your weight on top, your hand snakes underneath, walk it underneath and grab your own wrist here, okay? Now, if you're having trouble reaching your own hand, you can reach around and then come back through, okay? Making sure you get your own wrist and hold real strong here. Making sure you're squeezing tight. So I'm squeezing tight on my own wrist and squeezing tight on Ruby's wrist. This is called a figure 4 Kimura, yeah? Once we get to here, we lift that partner's elbow up while we keep the weight, because you want to keep them on the floor, so you lift the elbow up and your partner taps. Once you get that tap, you can let it go. It's putting pressure like this. This is a Kimura. It's a very easy one to do. Why I like to show you guys the Kimura, because remember with the arm bar, when we're on top and we fall off to the arm bar, Now my weight's off of them. So sometimes your partner can get on top from here. Come up. You know, that can be a problem. Why the Kimura is good, when you're on side control, you can keep your partner on the floor, so you don't have any. If you don't get it, it doesn't matter. You're not taking your weight off of them. So you push their hand to the mat with your hand on top. Reach underneath and grab your own wrist. Keep your weight on it and lift that elbow up towards the roof, and your partner taps. So you need to practice this one at home with another body type. You can't do this by yourself. So ask your brother or sister or mum or dad, and you practice. This is called the Kimura, a figure 4 Kimura. You're allowed to do this in training. You're allowed to do this in competition. So I'd really like you to try and get this practicing before we get back on the mat, okay? I hope to see you soon, and thanks guys.